Hello, my name is Mike Pfaff, and this is my YouTube channel, Living in the Illusion. Now, on our board, as usual, we have what we talked about in the last video. And we'll go through a slight review and then move on to, an exciting topic for today. But this was our subject last time. You see nothing but yourself. You see nothing but yourself. And we looked at that basically through these two statements. Your senses tell you nothing. So you think that your senses are telling you things. Like sight is the most obvious, and you point your eyes at what's outside of you, and you take in information, and you believe your senses tell you what that information is. No, the senses tell you nothing. And that's what this is. The senses tell you nothing. And we quoted from AI through Google search. It's very scientific. Your senses tell you nothing. The only thing you know on a conscious level is what your mind interprets of the input data. And that goes through a filtering process, which we discussed in the last video. So your senses tell you nothing. You can't look. I had that happen just recently. I was testing a guy, and I said, "You can't see me." And he says, "What do you mean I can't see you? There you are, you're sitting in a chair. You got a shirt on." And he pointed to somebody else. He said, "Do you see him sitting there?" And the guy said, "Yeah." But you don't know anything from your senses. All that information has got to be interpreted through what you know, what is your belief system. Your senses tell you nothing. They are just biological tools that bring information. And that's what we talked about in the last video. Now, the other thing is, you cannot make a pure, objective observation. Impossible. And again, we quoted information from Google search and what AI said. And it said, and you'll look at the last video, and I'll reference it. It basically says it's impossible to have a pure, objective observation. So observations, all of them, for better or for worse, for richer or poorer, a little bit or a lot, are all subjective. But in the illusion, we don't think that way. We have a different belief system. So that's basically what we talked about. And here's the model that we use. Out here, this is the input information from the infinite field of everything. It goes through this wall into the inner mechanism of you. And in that wall is a slit. And in that slit is your lens of perception. So everything that you get inside of you to create your world is filtered through your lens of perception, which is basically your belief system. And that's why it's not the senses that tell you anything. It is your interpretation of your lens of perception, the data that's on the other side of it, that determines, here you are with your little computer. You might think about it as a brain. The brain digesting the data, and the brain, no matter what you heard or what you're told, it's basically a data processing system. And out of that, you create your world. That's the way it is. Now, you may also look at down here, I added this. You see nothing as it is. And we discussed that in another video. So these all tie together. If you're not looking at the other videos, you're missing the interconnection between all of them. You see nothing as it is. As long as this lens is not pure, clean, you see nothing as it is. And that's what we talked about in the last video. And now, on to our new adventure now. And this is our subject for this video. And here is the topic. A surprising new truth. Mind is quantum and body is classical. And that's the way it is. It's really not a new truth. This is an ancient truth, an ancient wisdom. And there were many philosophical and ancient texts that mention and create this understanding. Now, quantum was not known way back then, but the idea, the underlying idea that mind and body, although separate, somehow they combine. And so we're going to look at that. And to start with, we make this statement. Consciousness, the one mind, is a living organism. So here are some of the characteristics of this one mind. Interconnected with everything. Everything is energy, and it's interconnected, and it all dances together. Continues to exist. It's been going on for a long time. It uses energy, because everything is energy. So it just shifts the energy. All the energy is here already. All that you're going to get comes from consciousness. And it changes. You can't destroy it, and you can't make it. We can't. All you can do is change it. Change the form that it presents itself in. So this is what we have. It responds to the environment, and because it's always dancing. It's always moving. It's always one dancer or one quantum field dances with the other, and they just change the energy. So it adapts. It grows, because right at the edge of the universe right now, it's expanding. And we are expanding within that as a fractal expansion in kind, in likeness we just keep expanding. And it maintains a homeostasis. It develops too. It develops and maintains itself in a homeostatic, make believe I'm saying that right. So now let us just ask AI, just for confirmation. What characteristics define a living system? And so let's see what she says here. And this is what she says. Living systems are defined by a set of shared characteristics, including being composed of cells. Like we are cells within the consciousness. Requires energy to operate. Responds to stimuli. Grows and develops and reproduces, maintaining homeostasis, a stable internal environment, and adapts to its environment over time through evolution. Well, if you kind of put those two together, consciousness is a living organism. Now, they're way back. I said this was all ancient information. So let us quote from another ancient information, which is the Hermetic principles. And in those 7 Hermetic principles of self-mastery, the first one, principle of mentalism. The all is mind. The universe is mental. This first principle embodies the truth that the all, is mind, meaning the universe itself is at its underlying and fundamental level is mental. That all phenomena of life, matter, and energy in the material universe are thoughts of an infinite and universal living mind. Living mind. So let us look at this a little more closely, because our mind, now let's look at this model. We start with the one mind. We start with consciousness. Our minds are an extension of the one mind. So here we show the one mind, and then our mind as an extension of that one mind, and now we have the body. So we're looking at the mind-body connection. Mind-body connection. Quantum, the mind is quantum, and the body is a transition point between classical and quantum. And their energy. And therefore, mind and body are entangled. This mind-body connection is an entanglement. Now, in the egoic world, you're not going to see the body. Why? It's quantum. It's a quantum effect. It comes from consciousness. But in that relationship where mind is quantum and body is a transition into classical, in that entanglement, the mind, our mind, your mind, and my mind are learners. We're learners in this environment. And we have a learning device, which is the body. And that's why they're intertangled. They're entangled here, and the learning environment is the egoic world. Now, why is that? Why would you say that? Well, most spiritual paths, one way or another, recognize or seem to recognize that the life we have now is a learning environment, that we are learning things, we are passing tests, we are moving on, we are becoming wiser as we get older. And this information that the body goes through as a learning device operating in the egoic world, all the trials and tribulations, all of the hardships, all of the good times, everything like that, every experience through entanglement is connected to the one mind. And through that process, the one mind begins to understand itself. It knows itself from this experience of the body in the classical egoic world. So this is a learning experience that we are going through. And we could be much better at our schooling in this environment if we begin to recognize it. So let's see what A Course in Miracles might have to say about this approach. And here's what the Course says. Therefore, what extends from the mind is still in the mind, and from what is extended, it knows itself. So through the Course is a recognition that the one mind is knowing itself through this experience in the egoic world. Now, isn't that interesting? Since the mind is quantum, the information is in quantum information, which is you can't copy it. You can't clone it because it is in quantum bits, which are probabilities. So in the egoic world, you do not have the information of the experience itself. While the body has the experience, the meaning of the experience rests only in the quantum mind. And that's how the one mind begins to understand itself. Now, I've had another question. People said, well, the one mind knows everything. But each moment is a brand new moment that has never been before. Has never been before. So the quantum mind wants to know that. And that's why it is fractally, through fractal expansion, continuing to evolve. Oh, there's much to talk about here in the illusion. You see nothing as it is, not one thing. Everything is an interpretation of your mind. Everything goes to the mind and extends from the mind, the one mind of consciousness. Oh, give this some thought. And if you have any questions, put the questions down below. I like to answer questions. I always don't have an answer, but I'll come up with something. Or I'll, it's very forgiving to say, I don't know. It's a relief. Say, I don't know. So if I don't know, I'll tell you I don't know. But if I do have any idea, I'll let you know. Now you can also subscribe, and because it might be fun, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time. Right here, the only place you can be, here in the illusion. Bye now.
Yo voy a cantar esta canción, yo voy a cantar esta canción para mi gente, con una pasión